Hürmetli hanımlar ve cenaplar, bakmayarak ki Bakü'de İngiliz dilinde danışmak benim için biraz garibe olacak. Konuşmamı İngiliz dilinde hazırladığıma göre İngiliz dilinde konuşacağım ama sualleriniz Türkçe ve İngiliz dilinde verebilirsiniz. Hoş gelmişsiniz. I will be talking about, the title of my talk is The Framing Trilateral Relations Between Azerbaijan, Turkey and Georgia, and I will particularly focus on the domestic preferences, regional integration, and international challenges. And I would like to draw your attention to the society dimension of this trilateral relations rather than state-to-state or intergovernmental relations. The trilateral relationship between Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey has been defined as exemplary, promising, unique, and groundbreaking in the literature. It is often called a strategic partnership, yet the connotations that this trilateral relationship has, I think, goes beyond this strategic partnership. Although the theme of this trilateral or triangular relationship has not been fully covered by the international scholarly literature, particularly the research centers, strategic institutes in Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Georgia, they're highly engaged in producing knowledge and literature in order to promote this trilateral relationship. I think this trilateral relationship is an incentive, both local and regional. It's a message that should be conveyed in order to promote regional integration. This is a project which is very promising in terms of prospects, and this is an act of solidarity in order to promote peace, security, stability, and more importantly, territorial integrity in the region. The main research in order to popularize the trilateral relationship between these three countries has been mainly carried out by the research centers. So when we look at the literature, we do see that there is a lack of attention in the English language international scholarly work, particularly in the areas of foreign policy, international relations, and comparative government. So I think for the future vision, our first task should be to promote the importance and the prospects offered by this trilateral cooperation at the academic level. Most of the studies, they're mainly referring to the bilateral relations between Turkey and Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan and Georgia, Turkey and Georgia, along with some external or semi-external actors like United States, Russian Federation, and Iran. Actually, the harmonic bilateral relations among Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Georgia constituted the basis of the formation of the Troika or Three Musketeers. Because the bilateral relations themselves, they kind of signified the harmony and solidarity among these three countries. Thematically, the knowledge produced on this theme is mainly focusing on the economic, defense, and trade sectors, particularly the security concerns and economic interests of these three countries. Although cultural and inter-society dimensions are referred to, they are not deeply investigated by most of the literature. Major works by Cavit Veliyev, Zahur Shiriev, and Mithat Çelikpara are the examples on which the research should be based on in order to integrate the society dimension in order to unpack this trilateral relationship. It has been discussed, as I told you earlier, in terms of interstate, intergovernmental relations, but there is a strong emphasis on the need to deepen this trilateral relationship, and I argue that this could be done through the involvement of the societal actors, mainly civil society organizations and academia, universities, to integrate the society dimension and to deepen the trilateral cooperation. This trilateral cooperation is seen as concerning by the Armenians and the Russians, particularly dismissed by the Russians, arguing that this will not lead to sound, effective, and promising cooperation. On the other hand, the stakeholders of this trilateral cooperation really believe in the effectiveness of this project in order to promote prosperity, stability, and territorial integrity in the region. Western sources are not necessarily very much aware of the importance of such cooperation and does not appear to be an issue that requires particular attention. Yet, this has to be evaluated with great attention and importance in order to provide an example for regional integration. My main arguments in this talk actually is threefold. Trilateral cooperation should be unpacked and analyzed not only in terms of interstate intergovernmental relations, but also the involvement of the societal actors, including NGOs and academia, should be promoted. If we would like to deepen the this intercooperation. Through this involvement of the societal actors, the cooperation will be multi-leveled and multidimensional, but also it will be consolidated by the societal actors in order to pave the way to the institutionalization and consolidation of this cooperation at the societal level. The second argument is that Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Georgia promoted this idea of homegrown cooperation, homegrown idea of trilateral cooperation, because obviously the existing examples of interstate cooperation did not work efficiently. These include BSEC, Eurasia Economic Forum, Eastern Partnership, or European Neighborhood Policy. So basically, these intergovernmental structures or institutions have not been able fully kind of respond to the needs and interests of these three countries. So basically, this local idea has been grown among these three countries to promote, to foster dialogue, and intensifies the partnership. There is an inherent societal support in three of these countries. So basically, although this is an idea promoted by the state actors, at the public opinion level in all countries, they have positive prejudices or stereotypes against each other. Turkey and Azerbaijan already enjoyed an exceptional relationship both at state and society level and in terms of their domestic and foreign policy preferences. The same applies to the Georgian and Turkish public opinion to have kind of a positive connotations or positive stereotypes against each other. The acquaintances that they have made after the collapse of the Soviet Union between Turkey and Azerbaijan promoted the basis of the dialogue with reference to the solidarity and sympathy. When it comes to the domestic preferences, the foreign policy choices are mainly informed by the public, by the societal actors. Treatment of this region as South Caucasus or post-Soviet or Eurasia have not fully responded to the needs and priorities of the individual countries. Most of the interstate, intergovernmental kind of networks were not able to kind of fully consolidate institutionalization both at the state and the society level. So therefore, the trilateral relationship between Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Georgia have a solid ground to deepen and widen the relationship. Therefore, the three countries will be able to become a regional powers, efficient regional actors in the region. And I think, I mean, in the panel and now and in the afternoon, actually most of the speakers will be referring to the society, security, economy dimension of this trilateral relations. And I think this cradle example of this cooperation will be the functioning of the Baku-Tbilisi and Kars Railway in order to connect the societies more intensively. In terms of regional integration, well, in the scholarly literature, since the collapse of the Soviet Union, there are different typologies like post-Soviet, like Eurasia, like South Caucasus, Central Asia, Turkic world, etc. However, for the scholars, it was kind of hard to actually work on the regions as a unit of analysis, whereas this trilateral cooperation offers the prospects for the scholars, international scholars, to problematize and to conceptualize the prospects for regional stability and security. The good functioning of the trilateral relationship, through deepening it with the involvement of the societal actors, will contribute and consolidate actually the existing institutionalization networks and dialogue between and among these three countries. Therefore, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey, although they have looked for other alternatives in terms of institutional structures, they are now aware of this trilateral, triangular relationship serve best of their interest. Of course, domestic preferences and the prospects for regional integration have been influenced by the international challenges, including terror, including human trafficking. Obviously, there are different actors that three of the countries should take into consideration, including Western Europe, United States, Russian Federation, and Armenia. To conclude, actually, if I would have time, I think that this triangular relationship between Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Georgia offers more than a strategic partnership and more than an interstate cooperation. Since the name of the conference is about the vision for the future, I think a possible policy choice or a possible policy act can be to promote the relationship between the civil society organizations and universities. While we are a group of people working on the South Caucasus, both in the region, in Turkey, and in the international platforms. So we know each other quite well because we have the previous experience of working together, talking together, writing together, etc. However, obviously, this cooperation needs yet another institutionalization at the society level. Common platforms or interactions with the involvement, specifically on this topic, with the involvement of the academics and the representatives of the civil society organization will feed this exemplary trilateral relationship and will enrich this trilateral relationship. Thank you for your attention.